Welcome to another tutorial on a piston door. This one is made for hallways or grand doorways like I've got here. It's very fast. The redstone is pretty simple. It'll be a great addition for any futuristic base where you've got a lot of hallways and doors, or mansions. And it's very practical too. Unlike so many redstone doors that are 3x3 or larger. It takes a second to open and shuts after about 3 seconds. It's so fast that you can even push and walk. And you walk straight through. Not many piston doors can operate that fast. And still be quite small. It can be built at a bunch of different heights. This one is just a standard hallway door. I tend to build my hallways 4 tall. So this is a 3x4. But you can build it a lot taller and build a grand mansion door if you want to. It's a very thin door in that you can have the button right up against the same blocks that your door is on. And the wall surrounding that space just needs to be 3 thick. There are 2 major parts of this door, the lower section that pushes it up and the upper section that pushes it back down again. The mechanism of the door is just 2 double piston extenders. It's just that they have different designs because of the different ways redstone works when going downwards and when going upwards. Over here I have an example of it without all the building blocks surrounding it. And in this example I also have the door made out of glass. That's one of the great benefits of this door is you can have a glass door, you can have a fully solid door, it doesn't really matter, you can do whatever you want. The only thing that happens with a glass door is that you'll have another layer of blocks on top of the door that you wouldn't have if you have a solid door. These 3 blocks of gold here would be made to match whatever block you've got below it. In order to make this as fast as it is, a gravity block is needed. In this case I've used orange concrete powder, but it can be any of the concrete powders. Like I have grey concrete powder here to match the grey wool. It can be sand, it can be gravel if you so desire. Unfortunately it does need to be a gravity block. It was the only way to make this as fast as it is. And with that done, let's get into how to build this. The easiest way to start building this door is to place down your door blocks first. You can have a door up to 10 blocks tall if you wish. I've just gone with 4 here to make the example easy. 3 blocks below your door, place down a row of sticky pistons. Place down another row of sticky pistons on top of that. And then depending on which way is easier for your redstone, place down 3 redstone repeaters facing the bottom sticky pistons. On the other side of the sticky pistons, place down 3 observers facing the sticky pistons, followed by 3 blocks that transmit redstone signals with a redstone DOS on top. And right on top of the observers that you've placed down against the pistons, place down target blocks. These target blocks will redirect the signal that's come out of these bottom pistons into the second row of sticky pistons. Coming back to the other side again, place down 3 observers facing the redstone repeaters, and above them place down your floor blocks. It will need to be something that can transmit redstone signals. It can't be glass, otherwise it won't work. Once that's done, the bottom section's almost done. You've just got to put in the system to cut the signal off from your button or whatever mechanism you're using to open the door to 1 tick. This is done by placing down sticky pistons and on the same level of block that the redstone repeater is sitting on top of. So right across here. And then on top of those sticky pistons, placing down target blocks. Behind those target blocks, chuck down some redstone dust to wherever your signal is coming from, and you've got the bottom section done. Now to the top of the door, where you've got a circuit for the double piston extender to push downwards, and then you've got a circuit that delays the redstone signal for about 3 seconds and only triggers the double piston extender at the end of that time. Now getting to building this. This is the reason why you want to do the bottom section first and place down the door blocks, because what you can do is trigger it, like I have over here, and now you can place your pistons exactly where they need to be. Remember in this one, there is, because it's glass, I've placed down a block so you can't just see the piston heads. So in this example, you would just place a few blocks up above the door and then place down a row of sticky pistons and then a row of normal pistons below that. In this example, they've put together, this piston would be where this chain is, and it would stop, and the sticky pistons would be where these pistons are now. Now to do the observer and redstone repeater part. To do this, it's easy to start with placing down the observer. So to do this, you'll need to place down some temporary blocks and place observers facing that temporary block. Remove it and then place down the repeaters. All of these repeaters will need to be on 4 ticks. With that attached next to the ordinary piston with the repeater going into the sticky piston, you can then place a block that redstone goes through underneath the observer. Now behind those repeaters, you need to place down a block with redstone dust on top of it. That'll allow the signal to travel to all of them at once. Behind that, we get to the circuit that powers the door on and off. This is my replacement to a long line of repeaters, and it's working brilliantly. To make it, you just need to place down a sticky piston with a block in front of it. Behind that, you need either a repeater or a comparator powering the sticky piston, and then a repeater with 3 ticks on it powering the block. What will happen if you have a signal come in is that the signal will power the piston first, and then the repeater with 3 ticks will power on. It means that you won't get a signal coming through this block initially, but when the signal is turned off, there'll be a brief moment where a redstone signal can pass through this block, and that is what shuts the door. To get an adequate delay, we use this comparator timer. There's a bunch of videos out there as to how this works, but if you just have some redstone dust either side of comparators facing in a sort of circular direction, each time it goes to behind the comparator, it loses a redstone signal. Over the course of about 3 seconds, it'll slowly go down to 0, at which point the piston will turn off and there'll be a brief signal go through it, just like I said. With that all in, there's only 2 more parts to do to get a functioning door. One, there needs to be a redstone repeater right up against these redstone dust. You can see it more clearly over here. There's a repeater here, a repeater here. This makes sure that the signal going into these comparators is 15 as it enters. If you don't have repeaters here, then the redstone signal will be less than 15, and so the time delay for the door shutting will be less. With those repeaters in, you've just got to find some way to connect the door. For me, I've connected it via a block either side of the door where you can place a button on. Next to that block, you've got redstone dust sitting on top of a sticky piston with a redstone block underneath it. If you do it this way, it means that the redstone block will touch the dust for the bottom circuit, opening it. It's a very quick system. It means you've only got a 3-tick delay between the door starting to open after you have pressed the button, so less than half a second. You can then use glass or half slabs to ladder it up and then bring it to the repeaters. With that, you've got it done. Please try this door out in all of your builds where you would have used standard doors before. You'll find them amazing. It's so good, it's so fast, it's way better to walk through than the standard door. If you have, please like and subscribe, and until next time, goodbye.